Hey guys, welcome to another session of RBTL. It's been a while. I've been skipping a couple of the patch notes in the past. There's not much to talk about in this one as well, except like just a couple things. As you guys know how I do reading between the lines, it's going through the patch notes and a couple highlights, and I definitely think that this time I would say that there's more to talk about than maybe the past 2 weeks. But happy May weekend buff event. So it's very cool that I think that Smilegate took upon themselves to just like create an event for no reason whatsoever. So I think the reason is that they saw the forecast the month of May, nothing much will happen. At the most we'll get 2 new RGB heroes, which at this point we got the announcement video for Senya finally coming, my waifu. Although I'll make a Senya video, my thoughts on her on a separate video, so I won't be talking about her here as we review my usual initial thoughts series. But just to make up this event, because like we're not gonna get the collab until June, which I think will be the biggest hype, or the bigger hype, because we don't know what the IP is still, and then summer is just around the corner. So like SSB potential return, which I'm assuming would, Holiday Yufine, and maybe a new summer hero as well. So in terms of May, I think that it's too stale, and a lot of the end game players and the people I talked to, whether on stream or in Discord, have all said the same thing, and I felt it too. It's just like it's a bit stale. It's not that the game is boring. If you are RTA main and you're always constantly building, I think that's okay, but more or less like if you're talking about like some kind of excitement, there's not too much. And I think the kind of like what we saw last weekend with the E7 World Cup and the coming weekend as well, I think the event Smilegate really wants to pump up the hype, and although the viewership is really high, I don't think it's necessarily hitting the mark. That's the sense I feel, but I might be wrong about that. Regardless, it's not my commentary on that, but rather it's just that for them to have this just made up event, which is fantastic. I'll take this, man. Weekend buffs plus free equip plus some in-game login incentives. So definitely it may not be like super exciting to some, but it's definitely more incentivizing to log in, at least for players who don't. Free equip event this time is a bit longer, and we've been getting them quite a bit, and I haven't had an opportunity to use my web event free equip scroll from the Yuna vending machine event this time, and it's just because like we've been having this back to back, so that's very, very cool. And then the buff event is longer than our usual, but we've had this maybe a couple months ago as well, where it's like a 5-day event, so pretty much stretching out to the following week. So you got the weekend, and you got a couple days after that too, and out of the 5 days you have 3 days that are hunt events, or at least available to get the hunt buffs. So the all the buffs above on the last one, but you get two individual gold increase and the 50% hunt equipment craft material drop rate increase as well. Burning Passion Pack of course returning, and this time for all days, so 5 days of Burning Passion Pack. And then we got the login event. So this is why I'm saying that like they really wanted to hype this up for no apparent reason. Just happy May, guys, happy May. So I like that, right? I like that thinking. I'm just like, okay, I mean, all gacha games struggle with this. If they don't have any incentive for the players to actually do their daily login, they'll opt not to log in. And sometimes players who are so burnt out, they literally will. This is how you lose players over time, right? People who have invested a lot of time, they don't just snap their finger and say I quit. They start lowering the amount of interactivity with the actual game. But like with the check-in event, people who are maybe borderline about to leave or have less interaction will now have an incentive to do it. And the hopes of that, from a gacha game perspective, is that the play, it's kind of like shopping, right? I don't know your shopping habits, but I know many people, like they go to like a Walmart or whatever, and then they end up like as you're checking out, like back when there wasn't like self-checkout or whatever, they always had like the candy bars and stuff and the magazines and stuff like near the cashier. The thing is like, oh, I'm here anyway, let's get a chocolate bar, right? So like that's the same thing about gacha games. You get yourself logged in and you're just like, okay, maybe I'll do a couple hunts. I'll use up my daily energy. Using my daily energy, you get a poggers piece of gear. You get incentivized to be like, oh, okay, wait, we got a free equip event. Let's put this gear on some other heroes, and then you get a new build and you flex it on Discord, and then now you want to play it again, right? Like that's the thing. So Smilegate, very smart for doing this, knowing that May is probably going to be a pretty boring month. Continuous energy as you log in, as they have done this, and then 5-star hero summon ticket, and of course that is pretty good, right? Guaranteed, right? That's very, very nice. And then we have free covenant summons as well. 7 days, 10, so you get 70 summons. I've never gotten lucky enough to get an ML5 from it. I know that many people have reported to me, hey Jagan, guess what? Hey Jagan, guess what? Yeah, so I mean, everybody, your luck will come one day, and maybe mine will too, maybe this one, hopefully. But otherwise, very cool again, very good incentive to summon. Let me scroll back here because I was actually reading something. Anyways, so the update patch this time would be episode 3 chapter 8. Because of bomb model Kana, I actually did farm all the way to chapter 6 for her connection hero. So I'm only 2 chapters behind, so I'm very proud of myself. One thing that I will note is that we just got a survey from the global side on, and one of the questions is like, do you think the story mode is too hard or whatever? Just tick off the box saying that it's a bit too difficult or whatever, and I kind of want to see it nerfed. I had this discussion on stream. I know that there are some players who even on this stream were saying that, oh, they're fine with the stories being more difficult. I can kind of agree, but you have to kind of, I don't know, I personally feel that the main game of of Epic 7 is not the story. Like, while the story part is important, it's not like the main focus of the game, because it's really hunts, builds, and then PvP. But for me I want to go through the story, I also want to use my energy to the best value. So I would usually want to farm fodder on it so I can keep progressing in the way that Epic 7 wants me to progress. But because it's so difficult, I remember like when I was trying to unlock Bomb Model Kana, I had to fight that Mort fight. The Senya fight was also pretty difficult, and then the other one, the other android girl, I forgot what her name is. Like, is it Brix or Bree or something like that? I forgot. That was pretty difficult too. The Mort one got me actually molding. I literally had to bring like 4 heroes that were fully built, decked out with gear, and I almost still couldn't beat it. It was just like insane. It was like abyss level. But for story, I don't know, man. Like, at the end of the day, I beat that Mort level, but I didn't complete all quests because I think I forgot to bring an Earth hero. And I was molding. Regardless, it would be cool to see them lower the difficulty. I just don't feel that it's necessary. Just because you're in episode 3 doesn't mean that you have to power creep the entire thing. I don't know. That's my opinion though, but you know, I could be wrong. I'm not complaining about it. I just think that it's not necessary, especially from an end game perspective. Anyways, Vildred is returning. So Vildred has returned, I count, 3 times before Blue Crow has returned. I really want Blue Crow imprints and Last Rider Crow imprints, so please return that soon. But Vildred, I think I might pull maybe for 1, because my RB is 1 from Triple S, and I might want to pull him maybe. Senya is coming out, like I said, so I want to save bookmarks for her because I actually want to summon her. But more on that in her own video. Expedition adjustments and the rotation improvements. So a couple things is the energy consumed now. I think this would probably be the bigger deal, is that yeah, once you enter for the first time, we'll look at level 3 right now because I'm in level 3, but if you like, the cost of energy lowers. That's very nice because most players, if they're smart, they wouldn't ever hit it twice regardless, and I don't think that the lower cost tier will incentivize a player to hit it twice. It just might motivate, let's say like there's only a minute left for Expo and someone has their eyes on this Expo and it's almost dead but no one's hitting it, so it's rather than it's the sunk cost fallacy, right? Like, you've already used 18 energy, like instead of 18 energy going to complete waste, you're gonna use 9, right? But ideally you have either guildmates or friends that you're like, you know, able to communicate with, and you're just like, yo, you freaking pleb, go finish it off or something like that, you know, something like that. I mean, I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. But like this would be, I guess, a better system for a closed kind of community. So like if people are hitting it, you have no communication. Again, like for you to do it first time is 0, so definitely hit your own expo if it is not going down, and for the second time it at least is already lower cost. So it's not a bad thing to have. So I definitely I appreciate the system, but I don't think I would ever see a scenario where I'd use it myself or see the people that I play with use it either. But regardless, it's good. And then the level 1 and level 2 monsters adjusted, but meh. It's level 1 and level 2. Everybody's gonna start for level 3 anyway. Expedition team expanded to 5. I was kind of surprised about that. I don't know if that's necessary, but I guess better than nothing either. Yeah, so CDOM, skill description adjustment and recall details. So I mean, we had a similar thing with what was it? Green Purgus. Not too long ago. So functions have not changed. Yeah, no functional change. I was looking for that line. Will be made. So in terms of like, I guess it's because it's an ML, so they give us the selector. This reminds me of the whole topic with the Solitaria thing. Look, I don't make a video just because there's some kind of drama, but because we're on the topic anyway, I'm just like, I'm gonna, you know, give my 2 cents. I was asked this yesterday, actually, very coincidental, right? Nothing planned, no paid actors. What do you think about I think the Korea side? I don't know the full picture, but regardless, what I have heard was that when Solitaria had the bug, if you don't know the bug, it's really the effect stack of I Love Violin or artifact stack versus a debuff that comes from a passive. So it felt like Smilegate didn't really know how that worked, but then the quote-unquote bug was that I Love Violin would proc first, and then Solitaria's debuff coming from her passive, which is not like a usual passive, but as a buffed passive, would apply after, but it wouldn't be consistent. But regardless, apparently what I heard was that so some people got the wind of it. It's like, oh, it's a bug, so let's summon for her so that they'll have to give us this, like what we see in CDOM, the recall, and then therefore an ML5 selector. But Smilegate decided to say that, hey, you know what, we're gonna keep that as a feature. I personally like that for Solitaria as a feature because it makes her more usable the way she is right now. Of course, that's pending if she gets a buff or not, but it makes her more useful, in my opinion. But some people got pissed off. There's some rioting. I'm not taking any side on that, except the fact that I don't think Smilegate was wrong to do that. I mean, they could have given the ML5 selector and said that, oh, we made a mistake, but they decided to add it as a feature, which in my opinion, like I said, it's a positive. But for the players, I understand that for the players who actually hammed for an expectance of a recall, just don't do that in the future, right? Like that's just foolish, right? And that's also like trying to twist the arm of Smilegate. And the fact that Smilegate still gave us 500 Mystic Medals, which I totally forgot about until I was reminded about that yesterday on stream again. I definitely say that they are the heroes of the thing. I don't see they did anything wrong, but it is interesting that they allow for ML4 selector for CDOM, which is like just very good, right? She's just a very good hero. Like no one would have a doubt in their mind of like, oh no, the description is bad, I got debated. She's actually a good hero. So the very fact that they gave us a selector here, it just causes me to think about the Solitaria issue, which I just think is funny. Now, I mean, for people who are gonna get the Moonlight selector, I mean, I guess if there's something in the 4-star pool that is better than CDOM, or maybe you don't cleave or you never want to cleave, yeah, I guess do it. But otherwise, no, CDOM is a very, very good hero. Unless you have a dupe and you can benefit from the selector itself, I wouldn't even bother doing it. Actually, I should double check if I have a CDOM dupe. I'm missing ML Koana. That's the only 4-star I'm missing at the currently in terms of the ML4 pool. So I should check. Actually, if it is the case, I'll probably level her to level 50 and do it. It just reminded me that I wanted to. Otherwise, I wouldn't recall my current CDOM. That's for sure. I don't want to get into it. Anyways, Specimen says on the rotation and Destina Ludwig. I don't have any coins, so I can't do any of those. And Spez seemingly still underwhelming a lot to to a lot of people. He's not meta. Usable in I think PvP offense still pretty well, especially if you build him pretty bruisery. That's pretty safe. But other than that, I don't see him used much in like RTA scenarios, or people tried it when he got buffed. So maybe another buffing coming. Japanese media pack updated. The daily summon pack got me interested, but of course I'm talking about packs right now. I don't usually talk about packs. I'll have to see the pricing on this, but really it ends up being with about 28 extra summons. So let's just say like an additional free daily summon for like the 30-day span, like more or less. But I'll have to see the price on that. It could be interesting. Charm pack getting upgraded. I'm gonna skip down here. I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Some UI changes. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so it's a bit longer than I expected actually. Just to talk about those couple of those I guess things. Never mind. I'm gonna end here. Villager banner. I'll probably pull one. Senya. I'll make a video on her. Because she's a knight, I think she'll still be pretty influential. But that's what I said about Mort, and apparently Mort is just not good. So made a mistake there. Otherwise, I'm gonna end this for the video recording. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next Reading Between the Lines.